For just a moment. I don't think we're live yet. Give me
Okay.
a second. I have one more button to click. All right, we are live now.
Okay. I have Judge Gail Cowan,
Here.
Dr. Shantilla Rexroth, Matt Jackson,
Matt Jackson.
I'm here.
There you go.
Billy Coffey,
Here.
Sherry Hutchison, Dr. Janella Brown, Leanne Jesse,
Here.
Dr. Jacob Burton, Dr. James Bergen, Dr. Catherine Feast, Dr. Gary Pardon, and Debbie Cowan.
What did that add up to?
Well, I have a total of 5 board members on here.
All right. Well, Debbie
6
just
now.
joined us. That makes 6. We need 7, so we'll hang around for a moment to see if anyone joins us. We can't actually call the meeting to order without a quorum. So we'll hang around for a moment. I can
I had several that, well, they stated they would be attending because I touched base with them a couple of times this week.
okay. Well, this is maybe new technology for some. So, we might have to bear with people for a few moments. It's unfortunate the world we live in that this is the way we have to do things right now, but it is, so we'll try to make the best of it. I can give you all a little bit of an update on where we are with our vaccination situation. And so as a health department, we have received, we initially received 2,200 doses of vaccine, and that was to push out to healthcare providers, first responders, and the hospitals mostly got vaccine too to do the same thing. Most everyone that signed up for that first round of vaccination from that group got it. Some people may have wanted to sign up late, and they're not promised to be a priority or have special circumstances. I mean, if there's clinics available, they're welcome to try to get signed up like anyone else in 1A or 1B, but not getting special preferential attention right now. The federal contract with Walgreens and CVS is still going on. They're vaccinating nursing home, personal care homes. My understanding is all the nursing homes have had at least their first dose in our district, and some have had the second dose, and they're working on into the personal care homes. The Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital is the only area in our district that's been designated as a hub site, and they're getting 500 doses per week. We got last week, the health departments in our district got 700 doses pushed to them because the state had some left over. We set up a call center, and we had those 700 appointments scheduled within 2.5 hours. We have another person that just joined that might be our quorum. If we can figure out who it is, all I've got is a phone number. Someone just joined by phone. It's 1-270-799-7769. If you could unmute and tell us who you are. Does that phone number look familiar to you, Kathy?
That, if I'm not mistaken, that's Dr. Bergen.
Okay. That might make us a quorum. Let me just double check my numbers.
Great. Okay, yeah, it's Dr. Bergen. I just figured out how to unmute this thing.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, that makes us a quorum then. So let me turn the meeting over. Let's see, did Shantilla get here?
Not yet.
See, she's the chair. So Matt, you're the vice chair. If you want to call the meeting to order, I know you're on the road, you can turn it over to me and I'll run the agenda.
I hereby call the meeting to order and turn it over to Mr. Crabtree.
All right. Thank you, Matt. All right. So I'll just go ahead and finish. I had started giving a update on the vaccine, which would have been something I would have covered in my executive director's report. I'll just go ahead and finish my discussion. We had those 700 appointments scheduled within 2.5 hours through our call center. We set up 18 phone lines and we ended up expanding them to 20 phone lines. We had, I think, 12 operators. We got the 700 appointments scheduled in 2.5 hours, and all of those vaccines will be given by close of business today. So we were really efficient. The discouraging thing is we got 700 doses and we probably have, in our district, 10,000 people still in the 1A and 1B group or more that haven't got the vaccine yet. So there's clearly a tremendous amount more demand than there is supply. I haven't announced it yet, but if you'll read our daily brief tonight, you will see that the health department is going to get vaccine over the next 3 weeks. And I'll give instructions tonight on how we're going to schedule that. And we'll also put that on the radio for folks. It'll still be for group 1A and 1B. 3,000 won't cover all of our 1A and 1B demand, but it'll put a good dent in it. And hopefully the state will be able to provide for the health departments a consistent supply of vaccine. This is a one-time push. Again, we got the 700 as a one-time push. This will be a push where we'll get vaccine 3 weeks in a row, but all we've been promised is 3 weeks worth. So if they could get to the point where they could promise us a consistent flow, that would be very helpful for our citizens. Of course, we have the regional sites across the state, but not everyone can get there, though a considerable number of our citizens have made it to a regional site. Some people just can't. So that's sort of where we are with that. The biggest problem, as I'm sure everyone knows, is there's not enough supply of vaccine. When we had the 700 doses, let's say there was a demand of 10,000, we made 700 people happy, and of course 9,300 was unhappy because they didn't get into that. So there's a lot more unhappy people than happy people right now, and I wish there was something more we could do about it. I get scores of calls and emails each day from people telling me about how desperate their situation is, and it's heartbreaking, and I wish we could do more. Jacob Burton is also joining the meeting, so you can add him to your list of those present. So anyway, that'll be my part of the report for the vaccine situation. The good news about the disease is over the last 3 weeks, it seems like our cases locally have plateaued, which means we're having about the same number of cases each week. They're going down a little bit week by week, not dramatically, but they are going down a little. So we were coming off of Christmas, we were having a very substantial spike, and it's leveled off. At the level of demand we have right now, we've added enough staff to where if it doesn't spike again, we've got the resources in place we need to be able to do our case investigations and contact tracing. If we start adding vaccination clinics on top of it, we're going to get stretched again, but that's a good problem to have because we know that the vaccines is the solution. And the contact tracing and case investigations is more trying to just hold the disease at bay as long as we can until we get the vaccine. So getting vaccine out would be the priority. So does anyone have any questions about any of that before we get into the meat of the agenda? I don't hear any. If it's just because you're having trouble unmuting, just feel free to unmute and cut in. Dr. Jackson, the next item on the agenda is health education updates with Jelaine Harlow. If it's your pleasure, we'll let her report. I'll go ahead and share her presentation on my screen too.
Sounds great to me.
All right, if I can find it. All right, are you all seeing the agenda?
Yes,
All right, and that's your presentation there, Jelaine, is it?
it should be the next sheet.
Okay,
It's data, so
is that the one you want?
no, that's still the agenda.
Oh, okay, I may have the wrong screen shared. Give me just a moment, let me try again. Now what are you saying?
That's it. There you go.
Which one do you want? This one?
Starts with that one, yes. Yeah, and it's going to be a little hard to read, but I think you all got it sent to each of you. I just always want to make sure everybody sees a copy of what our statistics looks like for the
Hey,
year.
Jelaine,
Yeah.
Jelaine, hang on just one second. Hey, Sean, can you hit the maximize button on your PDF? I think that would help.
Uh,
It does help. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But anyway, everybody should have got a copy of this. If you ever need one, we'll be glad to send it to you or print it out. This is what we work by. This is what our work plan goes by every year. I won't go through all this. I just want everybody to be able to look at it, see what's going on in our communities. And again, it is what we do our work plan by, the best that we can to try to help. So the next one you see, Sean, if you'll scroll down to the next one, it's just a pretty way of putting our profile out. It's got the demographics, just a lot of good information. We use this to write grants, a lot of different things. And there's 2 pages of that. So you guys just look at it. If you have questions, everybody knows how to get a hold to me. I'll be glad to answer them. Most of our department.
I'm sorry, Jelaine, can you unmute yourself? I accidentally muted you. I was trying to,
Got you.
there you
Yeah,
go.
is that better? Okay.
Yeah, I was cutting down the background.
That's it.
I'll reshare the presentation.
Okay. So again, if anybody has questions about any of this or wants copies, just let me know and I'll be glad to get them to you. Our department, like all the rest of the departments, have been working COVID duties. We do the case releases. So today we're having a clinic here for the 70 plus and it's gone really smooth. So you guys just reach out if you ever have questions that we can answer. And that's it. I know we've got a big agenda, so we'll move on. And
All right, and this was another page that was in your packet too.
yes, there's two nice colored sheets.
And we did forward the packet to everyone ahead of time,
Yes.
so everyone should have this.
Yes.
Okay. All right, does anyone have any questions for Jelaine? All right, Dr. Jackson, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the February minutes. Everyone should have had those emailed out to them in advance. So I assume you would want me to entertain a motion?
Yeah, can I make that motion myself to approve?
Sure.
I'll do that.
All right, Kathy, it was Dr. Jackson made the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
That was Leanne Jesse, seconded. Is there any discussion? I don't hear any discussion, so everyone that's in favor, if you would vote by saying aye.
Aye.
And more
Aye.
important, if anyone's opposed, if you would vote no. All right, I don't hear any no votes, so we will move on. The next item on the agenda is setting the tax rate. I'll again try to share my screen. It'll be, hopefully we can make it large enough to where. Are y'all seeing the budget? Okay, so as far as setting the tax rate, I say this every year, technically we set the tax rate before we approve the budget, but generally I go ahead and give the budget so you'll have the context of the tax rate. So what you see on the screen here is, this is at the top block that you're seeing right now. That's how we arrive at our projected opening balance for next year. Now, this is the budget that you all approved for our current year. And what Ron has adjusted is the opening balance. When we gave you our budget projection last year, we gave it that as a projection. Ron and Kathy checked the accounts December 31st, and we've got our actual account balance as of December 31st. And he's made some adjustments on things that we've already spent this year. And he extrapolates that out, and you can see at the end, it looks like we're going to end this year at 184,570.39. Now, if you'll remember, and I'll go over this again as we get into the next budget, there's a considerable amount of miscellaneous unknown that we approve, just so that if something unusual happens, we'll have some wiggle room to make some adjustments on the fly. If we need to like purchase a heating and air unit or something, we could do it without calling another board meeting. So we allow a little bit of wiggle room. We probably won't spend all of that miscellaneous unknown that you approve for the current year. So your actual opening balance may end up being higher than this. But for now, we're projecting the opening balance for July 1 to be $184,570 that you can see right here at the close to the top of your screen now. What we put out here is we list 3 budget options. We have one at the present tax rate, we have one at a proposed break-even tax rate, and we have one if you wanted a surplus budget. You could set this anywhere you want. We just give you 3 options to look at to kind of have some idea of where things are at. If you leave your tax rate where it is, I'm going to scroll down real quick to a page here that shows this is how you've actually ended each year for the last since 2012. So you have had some years where you've ran at a surplus, and you've had some years where you've ran at a deficit. But when we factor all the years together, you're running right at break even with the tax rate you have. So even though we're showing you at a loss this year, and you ran at a loss last year, you might want to wait before you consider any kind of tax adjustment for a year or two to see how things are going. Right now, we kind of, as a way to determine whether or not if you have enough reserve on hand, is we take the square foot of your building, we calculate what it would take potentially to build a new building at that square footage, and then we take 1/10 of that and say that's probably what you need to maintain your buildings and grounds. And you all have in reserve 91% of what we would recommend. And in your packet, you can compare that to the other counties in the district. So probably your tax rate is pretty good. One thing I will say though, there's a new twist on the tax rate this year. The legislature passed a law that appears to change the rules for the health departments where the compensating tax rate would apply to us. Now, the Cabinet for Health and Families, which is the Department of Public Health, is in that cabinet. They've come out and taken the position that that law does not apply to us. And the Department of Local Government has taken the position that the law does apply to us. So it's not yet determined if the law applies to us or not. So ultimately, when we get to the place where I'm going to ask you to approve a tax rate, I'm going to have you frame it something like this. If you wanted to keep the tax rate the same, you would say, I make a motion to leave the tax rate as it is, 3 cents across the board, or to accept the compensating tax rate, whichever one's going to end up applying to us. That way we'll cover our bases and not have to have another board meeting should one rule go into place or the other. But we'll let the lawyers battle that out. So we project opening the balance as of July 1 to be $184,570. If you leave your tax rate at the 3 cents per $100 for each category, property type, this is the revenue that you would bring in. Real property taxes, you would bring in $179,294.88. the way we come to that number is, I'm scrolling down now, you can see we get a property valuation sheet. We get this each year from the Department for Local Government that's in the Office of Property Valuation, the Finance and Administration Cabinet. This is the same property value projection that all of the taxing districts get, whether you're the county or city or library or whatever. So anyway, we take the appropriate categories that are on this property value sheet and we plug it into these to the right categories on this calculation sheet. So we would add up each category, we would multiply it by whatever tax rate you approve. We've got 3 examples in there, and then we would project that at a 90% collection rate. And we list the totals down there, which translate over into the budget in these columns. So this is the 3-cent column where you presently are. If you go back and look at those forms, those numbers just pull in over here. So that's how we come up with that. But the real property tax would be $179,294.88. A tangible personal property would be $24,623.05. Motor vehicle taxes, $32,383.14. A little bit delinquent tax collections, $4,722.16. The telecommunications tax is $3,200. And then we project interest income of $1,144.41. The footnote down here says interest is calculated at the current effective rate, which is 0.75% for the money market account that you all have. So when you add up those projected revenues, they total $245,367.63. When you add that to the opening balance, you get $429,938.02 of funds available. What we're asking you all to spend next year is detailed below. The 2.8 cents that each health department pays in for the district budget or our operational budget, that's the budget that we present to the district board that includes the staff salaries, and it's mostly 75–80% of our budget is staff costs, whether it's salary, benefits, travel, or things that's staff related. So that's going to support your coming back to your county and supporting your staff. But that fee is $232,155. The next category would be items under building maintenance and repair. You see, we've listed snow removal, $1,000. The last few years, we haven't had to spend a lot of our snow removal budget, but you never know. Landscaping maintenance, fall and spring, $2,000. Replace the landscaping at the side of the building, $3,000. Remove a tree stump from the front of the office, $2,800. Miscellaneous maintenance and repair, $14,000. There's that miscellaneous category I was telling you about that, we add a pretty good chunk in there in case we have like a heat and air unit go out or a roof problem or something, or so we could go ahead and deal with that without calling another board meeting. We very rarely spend all of that, and if we don't, it just stays in your account and goes into your opening balance for next year. By the way that we set these budgets, I send an email out to all of the staff each year and tell them that if there's something they feel like they need, as far as like painting or office supplies, new desks, chairs, whatever, they got to get with their office manager locally there. It's Kathy Keltner. And if they can convince her it's something that's needed, she will get with Ron and they'll put together budget projections. And that's how we put this together for your all's consideration. And if you have any questions about any of these line items, I have Kathy on the phone. And when we get through the presentation of the expenses, you're welcome to ask her any detailed question you want. Under the category furniture and fixtures, we have seasonal decorations, $250, miscellaneous unknown, $2,500 for a total of $2,750. Under equipment, miscellaneous computer expenses, $9,200. Generator maintenance, $500. We have a generator at each site, and there's some maintenance that has to go along with that. Miscellaneous equipment expense, $5,000 for a total of $14,700. Other items.
Hey, Sean.
Yes.
Hey, Sean,
Yes,
just
sir.
to clarify, I think we explained this now a couple years in a row, but just so y'all aren't confused, me and Sean came up with the idea when I first started here that we thought it was a little ridiculous to line item every IT potential equipment that like we used to. Because if at all you go over one of those items, we're kind of in a pickle and we have to have another meeting with you guys. So miscellaneous computers and related equipment, that's normally like IT equipment, computer, just so you know, IT or computers, printers, anything that is related to computer or printer or fax equipment or phone equipment, things like that. Other equipment could be anything that goes as anywhere from a fridge to some kind of some kind of vaccine storage unit that somebody might need, or something like that. So just so y'all know that there's, because I didn't, just in case some of you are like, why do we have two miscellaneous categories? That's why we do that, just so that there is a distinction. But we did that so we wouldn't have to we wouldn't have to line item so many items for that.
Yes, thank you, Ron. Other items would be the auditing of the tax district due in 2021. You all don't have to have an audit every year, but is it every fourth year, Ron?
Yes, in their particular case, it'd be every fourth year unless they do a major thing like a building purchase or something. But yes, usually every fourth year.
Yeah, it's based on the size of your budget. So $1,500 for the audit, advertising our financial statements in the newspaper, and $300 paying the board's expenses to the professional associations, $1,500. Miscellaneous board expenses, $500. That's usually what we pay for food for the board meeting, but we'll save that money this year since we're Zoom meeting. Total budgeted expenditures, $276,205. Now, when you subtract the funds available from what we're asking you to spend, it comes to $153,733, which is $30,837 loss. Again, we don't always spend all those miscellaneous categories, so your budget is pretty much ran at break even over the last several years. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that loss. If it looks like over the next couple of years you're significantly running into the hole, we would think about it then. But for now, I think you're probably pretty solid because we do have some wiggle room in there. We have asked for an optional expense, and this is something I'll let Mary explain in more detail once I cover it. It's replaced the flooring upstairs, $30,000, replace the arched glass in the front walkways, $1,700, which would be a total optional addition to the budget, $31,700. That would bring your total expenses up to $307,905, leaving your balance $122,033, which would be a $62,000 deficit. So you probably will run at a deficit next year, but it's not a routine deficit because this is a one-time expenditure. So Mary, why don't you speak for a moment about the flooring situation? That's the biggest line item. And you may be muted if you're trying to talk. Let me stop sharing for a second so we can see each other. Can you unmute Mary? Or not Mary?
Kathy, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. The budget for the flooring, it's to take up all the carpet and the flooring upstairs here. It's extremely old. We have areas where there's not carpet, but it's kind of like a tile. It's cracked. We've had the carpets. I've been here since March, and I know the carpets have been shampooed here at least twice. And, it gives a little improvement for maybe about a week to 10 days, but then it comes up. It's just something that really needs to be done to improve the looks here.
Let me share the screen one more time. I want to show you all one more thing. We did include at the end the estimate for the flooring. Now we would get additional estimates. We get one estimate just so we can have some idea of what it's going to cost so that you can approve a budget, but we would have to get additional estimates so that we were required to get three, and we would take the low one. if you all approve this, you'll probably want to appoint a subcommittee to approve the bid so that you don't have to have a full board meeting. We can talk about that if you approve the budget. That's also the budget for the glass archway. Do you want to talk about that, Kathy? We used to have an employee, Mary Keltner, by the way, and she's just on my mind. Kathy,
Okay,
can you
All right.
jump in there?
the glass,
Hey, Sean.
Yes.
Hey, hang on, Kathy. Yeah, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong. These are the 3 quotes for the floor. Is that correct?
yes,
Oh,
we
well,
have
I'm sorry.
3 quotes and
Oh,
also
well, I'm saying that, Sean, because you could actually possibly get that out of the way without a subcommittee right now, if you
All
want
right.
to.
All right. Thank you, Ron.
yes, and there's also the 3 bids for the glass too.
Okay.
The glass out front, it's oxygenized, so where the moisture has built up, there's streaks and it's got a slight mildew in there. Really not really pretty to look at, and you can't repair it because you can't get in there to clean it out because they're double paint, and the only option you have is to replace the glass, which that's all that I'm doing. The frame is still good, and my quotes were given just to replace the glass only.
Okay, so let's open it up and see if any board members have any particular questions about anything that's in the budget. And I've probably muted everyone, so if you want to talk, you'll have to unmute. All right, I don't see any questions. So the first thing you have to do is approve the tax rate. So I guess if it's all right with Dr. Jackson, we'll open the floor up to approve a tax rate. I'll remind you, if you're going to suggest leaving it where it is, I would suggest you make the motion to leave the tax rate at 3 cents across the board, or take the compensating tax rate, whichever ends up applying to us. Just waiting for someone to make a motion. Jacob, you're talking, but you're muted.
I'll make a motion to keep it the same or take the compensated.
All right, thank you.
I'll second.
I'll second the motion, Debbie Cowan.
All right, Judge Cowan saying we'll take the judges since she's not the chair, Matt, if that's okay. All right, does anyone have any discussion about the tax rate?
Sean, I think that was Debbie that seconded that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Debbie. Thank you, Judge. Does anyone have any discussion? If there's not discussion, I assume Dr. Jackson would want to have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All right, and if anyone is opposed, please unmute and let us know. All right, it looks like the tax rate has been approved. The next thing would be to approve the budget. You've got 2 options. You can approve the budget without the optional expenses, or you can approve the budget with the optional expenses. If you approve it with the optional expenses, since Ron reminded me that we have all the quotes, we can go ahead and approve the vendor too. So Dr. Jackson, if it's okay, we'll open up for a motion on the budget.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I make a motion that we approve the budget with the additional stuff.
All right, who is that?
Dr. Bergen.
Dr. Bergen. So we had another one join us. That's Shandella. Hello, Shandella. You're muted, by the way. You're still muted.
I do apologize for being so late. I had a bit of an emergency, and so.
Well, Dr. Jackson, as the vice chair, called the meeting to order. If you want to take over for him, I'm sure he wouldn't argue. He's
Well,
got the
that's
thumbs
perfectly
up.
fine if you'll just catch me up to speed with where we are.
All right, so we've approved the tax rate. It was left at 3 cents across the board, or the compensating tax rate, whichever law ends up applying to us. They passed some new laws, and there's a debate between different branches of government which one's going to apply. So they did that. We've had the budget presented. It's pretty routine, other than there's an optional expense at the bottom to replace the flooring and to replace the glass in the walkway. We had a motion to accept the budget as presented with the optional expenses, and that was made by who? I forgot.
Dr. Bergen.
Dr. Bergen. And we were ready to try to get a second. So that's where we are.
I'll make a second.
That was Lee and Jesse. All right. I was kind of, since Matt was driving, I was kind of running the agenda. Do you want me to just keep kind of keeping things moving?
That would be wonderful, Sean, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Okay, so would there be any discussion at this time? All right, hearing no discussion, would anyone, can we open the floor for a vote then? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And more importantly, if anyone is opposed, please unmute and say that you're opposed so that we can get that in the record. All right. Kathy, have you been able to get the list of everyone who's joined so you'll have?
Yes, sir, I have it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So Ron, do you want to present the 3 bid options so that they can pick the bids for the flooring and the glass walkway?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
put
just
it
share
on.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
share it for me.
Are you seeing are you seeing me scroll to it?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so the first bid for flooring, now you'll see a couple of these are pretty high. One of them is quite a bit lower, but obviously whichever vendor y'all want to go with is obviously up to you. But the first one we had was from Bennett's Carpet. And like I want to thank Kathy for getting all these. All this work was done by Kathy to get these. I'm just going to take credit for talking about it right now. She's done everything else on it. But Bennett's Carpet, Sean, scroll the bottom a little bit. The total there is with everything, labor and flooring and everything. Pulling up the old floor and everything is $42,032.40. That's for Bennett's Carpet. And then Lowe's gave us a quote. Keep scrolling there, Sean. For once again, everything included. Keep going. That's not it. It's with labor and everything, it'll be 44,000. Sean, go back up just a little bit right there. 44,965.13. So that's actually comes in a little higher than Bennett's. Okay, and then we have a final one here. And this one you'll see is substantially lower. This is from Daniel's Carpet, in Russell Springs. If you go down just a little bit, for everything, to once again, new flooring, pull up, labor, everything is $27,821.70. And you'll notice on your budget, obviously, I put it at the lowest one. That's not me 100% assuming you're going to do that, but figured you would do that with the savings. But I put it at $30,000 because even if you guys accept the low bid here, which is what normally takes place, I always add in a couple thousand, depending on how much it is, for cushion, so we don't have to have a reapproval if something happens on the contingency and goes over. Anyway, but that's your 3 bids for discussion. After you do that one, I'll present the glass separately, which I don't think the glass actually needs to get approved unless Sean, unless you think so, because it's not as high unless you think so.
It doesn't matter. We can show it to them anyway and explain our logic.
Okay. But anyway, y'all can do the vendors, or y'all can approve the flooring, which vendor you approve.
So
normally, just so you know, normally the state makes us do the low bid, or not makes. Normally the state will tell us you go with the low bidder, but you can always choose somebody if you have a reason for it. You know, so then there's been all different kinds of reasons. Like we want to use local, we want to keep the money inside of our county. We think this guy does quality work and the person who has the low bid does not, things like that. So, but normally the low bid wins, but like I said, that's completely up to you guys.
So if anyone wants to discuss which bidder we should take, please unmute and do so.
Is there reason to think that dramatically different between the low bid and, say, Bennett's Carpets? Kathy, do you have a feel for that?
Well, when I got the quotes, it really surprised me. But the gentleman from Daniel's Carpets, I mean, I've heard good compliments on him. I know they've done good work, but it's about like with any business. Not everybody's perfect. You know, they're going to have people that have complaints. I'm going to be honest, myself, I prefer to lean towards the Daniel's Carpets primarily because of the price, because it was very shocking I know we have a lot of space here. I understand that perfectly, but $40,000 is a whole lot of money. And I feel like that Daniel's will do just as good of a job as Bennett's or Lowe's, either one.
And as far as what they quoted, the quality of flooring was all the same?
Yes, and because I stated exactly what I wanted and what price range I wanted to stay in per square foot, because I'd already been looking at it. So, you know, they knew what I was wanting to do.
Okay.
And I also had Brian, the maintenance guy, come over and review over and make sure I wasn't overlooking anything on here. Because actually, this is the first time I've ever had to have somebody come in and quote everything. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving anything out. And he looked at it, and everything that they've got listed, you know, we'll take care of it.
All right.
So let's go with Daniels.
I assume that's a motion from Jacob Burton.
I have one question. I noticed one of them said waterproof. Are all of them waterproof?
Yes, all of them are waterproof. It's the
It just
vinyl
doesn't.
plank. It's the
Okay.
vinyl plank waterproof.
Okay. Just doesn't state that on Daniels, but it is waterproof.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Do we have a second? I'm not hearing a second. I'm not
Can
seeing.
you, I'll second it.
Oh, there we
I'll
go.
second.
Billy Coffey made the second. All right. Any additional discussion? Okay. All in favor of using Daniel's Carpet for the flooring improvement, please say aye. If anyone's opposed, please unmute and let us know so we can get that in the records. All right. And then I told you we would just go ahead and show you our glass quotes and go through what our logic is. And again, if Ron, if you want to cover that, or I'm sorry, Kathy, I had a Mary Kellner that used to work for me, and I can't get Mary out of my mind.
Well, I may let you slide today just because this is my first time.
Yeah.
And I want to stay on good graces.
Well, good.
Kathy, if there's nothing much different in all three of these, I can just read them off like I did last time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, going up to the top one, Sean, it's a little higher than that one. Yeah, right there. So go, yeah, Green River, window and door. Once again, that's in your guys' county. That's in Adair. That go on down, Sean. The total for labor and everything there is close to $3,897 to replace the arch glass. Just like Kathy said, they're replacing just the glass. It's not any kind of framing or anything around it. Just to replace the glass with labor and everything included. Then we have Lake Cumberland Glass LLC. This company's out of Russell Springs. The price here was $1,579 for the same installation. And then Elkhorn Mirror and Glass, once again for the same installation, was $1,450. Based on my knowledge, that would put Elkhorn in the lead for the low quote. They're very close in quote though, so obviously you guys could have debate on that. But once again, do remember that since they are so close, even if it was $1, we have to have a justification if you want to go with Lake Cumberland Glass or the one above, if you want to go with the higher bid. So technically the low bid is what was the bottom one again, Kathy? The 1,450.
Elkhorn Mirror and Glass.
What was Elkhorn Mirror and Glass?
Yes, sir.
So who, Sean, if you can pull that back, Sean, if you don't care, pull that back, or if you want to leave it off, Sean, that's fine. I was just gonna have him pull it back up in case he wanted to see something, but that'll be up for discussion.
All right, I have it pulled back up. If does anyone have anything they want to discuss about that? Routinely, we would just go with the low bid and we would go with Elkhorn, but since you guys are here and on the meeting, if you want us to do something else, it's the opportunity to tell us. All right, since this one doesn't require a board approval or it doesn't require, it's a low enough amount that we can just choose it. We would just go with that. So if no one objects to that, we'll just go with the low bid. Okay, I'm going to go on down the list. The next thing on the list is election of officers. Right now, your officers are, your chair is Dr. Shantilla Rexroth, and your vice chair is Dr. Matt Jackson. And that's the only officers you have, so.
They're doing a good job. I'd like to see them stay as it is.
That sounded like a motion from Billy Coffey. Did anyone second?
I'll second that motion.
That was Debbie. Thank you. Is there any discussion? All right. All in favor, please unmute and say aye. All right. If anyone's opposed, please unmute and let us know. All right. Congratulations on your reappointment. Members whose terms expire next year. Kathy, I don't know if you have a list of that. I've got it in front of me if you don't.
I do.
Okay. Do you want to go over whose terms are going to expire?
Okay. Let's see. Billy Coffey's will expire on December the 31st of 2021. Sherry Hutchison's expires December 31st of 2022. Dr. Janella Brown will expire December 31st of 2021. Leanne Jesse's expires December 31st of 2022. Dr. Jacob Burton's expires December 31st of 2022. Dr. James Bergen expires December 31st of 2021. Dr. Catherine Feasis will expire on December 31st of 2021. Dr. Gary Pardons will expire December 31st of 2021. And Debbie Cowens will expire on December 31st of 2022.
All right. So for any of you guys whose term is going to expire in 21, while we got you on the board meeting, I know it's a little early. We generally ask you guys if you're still willing to serve, and if you are, we submit paperwork on your behalf. traditionally we have you sign a form, but the state's changed the process this year, and we just type it into a website. So I don't think there'll be anything for you guys to sign. Unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to type you in as you're wanting to serve again. So if you don't want to serve again, please let me know so we can try to recruit someone different. So I'm taking that as everybody who's willing to serve again. If I find out the process is different, you need to not sign something, I'll let you know. But I don't think there will be this year. They went to an electronic nomination process. Board members who serve on the district board. Each county gets representation on the district board or the governing board. It's based on the population size of your county. For the county judge executive is automatically on the district board, and then you get additional members for every 15,000 population you have or segment of 15,000. So you have 19,000, so you would get one additional member for the 15,000 and then one more on top of that because you have a segment of another 15,000 for a total of 3 members serving on the district board. Of course, the judge is automatically one of your representatives. Your 2 other you have serving on the district board right now is Matt Jackson and Chantilla Rexroth. And for the last while, we've been doing our board meetings by Zoom remotely, so it's not been as challenging as it is when we do them live, at least as far as the travel. There is challenges to doing Zoom meetings, but it's at least the travel's not involved with it this time. So that's who you have serving right now. All right. I guess the question is, are you guys willing to keep serving? We appreciate you all for doing that. I know it's a little more of a sacrifice. There's 4 meetings a year. Well, at least they're not saying no. So there you go.
I'm willing unless somebody's really itching to have that spot.
Anybody? I don't see them jumping.
The same. Yeah.
All right. So they're both willing to serve. If someone would like to put that in the form of a motion.
I'll make that a motion.
That was Billy Coffey.
I'll second.
That was Jacob Burton. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye. If anyone's opposed, please unmute and say so we can get it in the record. All right. I didn't hear any. That covers all the business other than the executive director's report. I can tell you, I've already started the meeting by talking about COVID while we were waiting for a quorum. Since March of last year, my life has been COVID-19. I've averaged 10 to 12 hours a day since March. I work on the weekends. I work on holidays. It's been relentless. And it's been very challenging. I mean, all of these things that we're doing are things that the health department does. We give vaccinations, we do communicable disease, we do public health messaging, we work with community partners, we do all this stuff, but we've never done it on this scale for this length of time. It's stretched our resources very thin, and it's not been without controversy. You know, not everyone agrees with masking. Not everyone agrees that the businesses should be restricted. And certainly not everybody's happy that there's not enough vaccine to go around. So it's been challenging. It's been rewarding seeing my team come together and perform at a high level under very difficult circumstances. It's been a challenge, you know, the amount of criticism that we face, and so that's tough. I know Judge Callan said, "Welcome to politics," and I understand what she was saying. It's a challenge, but we are doing good. Our district, when other places in the state were falling way behind, we kept up. There's health departments in the state that's abandoned contact tracing because they couldn't keep up. We haven't had to do that. We still do contact tracing. And every time that we've had an opportunity to get vaccine, we've taken it and we've gotten it out very efficiently. So we will continue to serve our communities as best we can. I wish the circumstances were better. I do understand everyone's complaints all the way around. It's tough when you feel like your rights are being infringed upon. It's tough when you feel scared and wish more people were masking. It's tough that we haven't had schools. It's tough there's not enough vaccine for everybody. All those things are legitimate concerns, and I wish there was better answers. Anyway, I'd be willing to take any question that y'all want to ask me about our response or COVID-19 or just anything about the health department in general. I made an announcement earlier. I'll announce it again. Everyone should look at the daily brief that we send out each day. It's on our website. There will be instructions today. We're going to get a push of some more vaccine over the next 3 weeks. There will be instructions on our website tonight how to sign up for that. And we will announce it on the local radio stations, and we'll get that taken care of. So be a good time for if you've got people in the 1A or 1B group to let them know to watch our website. Judge Callan says she has to jump off, says thanks for everyone for what you're doing. I saw that in the chat. We still have a quorum, so we can still officially adjourn the meeting when it's over. Anyone have any other questions, comments, anything you want to say to me or the staff there locally? I'll say
Thank you, Sean. You all have done a wonderful job.
Thank you. And thank you guys on the board for, letting us do our job without constantly being on our, backs to be doing something different. We've really appreciate the board's support. It can be really challenging, or it is already challenging. It'd be more challenging if the board was trying to, everybody has an opinion about what's right, and we have to pick something. So it can't go everyone's way. So I appreciate your all's support. Anybody else have any closing thoughts? I think this meeting went very well with Zoom. We got a quorum and everybody's here, and we're face to face and we had discussions. So maybe next year we'll be able to meet in person and have a meal together, and it'll be better. But this is what we got for now. Chantel, I'll let you call for the motion to adjourn if you're ready.
Yes. With no other business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Billy Coffey.
Second.
Second, was that Matt? He's nodding yes. That was Matt Jackson. I guess if they're in favor, they'll just jump out of the meeting. Bye, guys. Thank you all.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.